What's up? Waiting on Nico, but I just thought, you know what? I wanted to end this at around 9 o'clock anyway, no matter what, whether Nico's here or not. So I thought I'll just start and we'll get going. How is everybody? I know it's been snowing like crazy. Some parts of the country, it's been snowing like crazy here in Utah. It didn't snow since what day is it today? I guess it was probably like Monday or Tuesday. Actually, I could probably find out. I can't remember right now for some reason. But it was pretty amazing. So Wednesday was the last storm. And it's Saturday right now. It has been nuts. Basically, it's been snowing either every day or every other day since the 7th. You know what I mean? So it's now the 20th, and I'm so thankful for the break right now. There's no snow in the forecast for a week away, at least that I could see. There was some snowflakes on the forecast for this Sunday, but that turned into rain, and most likely it's just going to be rain. The mountains are going to get some snow. So there is a city that we just never know because it's right there next to the mountain, high elevation as well. So that one might get hit a little bit, but for the most part, what I would say 95% of our accounts aren't going to get snow. So all I can say is I was stressed for the month of December. What's new, right? You know what? I don't have my headphones on. Let's see if I can get this on here. It's still early. Nobody's on, right? All right. I'm hoping that's on. Can never really tell. You know what I mean? I wish I could tell. I guess I can go like this. All right. It's working. Like I said, I wish YouTube had a better way of testing this stuff out. Like I have no way to know if my headphones are on when I'm just here talking with myself. Partly because it's showing the headphones are also on my computer. So I don't know. Anyway, it didn't snow all last month. For the whole month of December, we didn't charge a single customer for snow clearing. Thankfully, like the first week of January, we did get some payments come in for some stuff we did in the month of December, but it wasn't snow. And so that first week, even though we didn't do anything, we brought in some money, which is great considering, we didn't really work that week or the week before. And then things were looking kind of grim, I would say, right? It's like, okay, we got some money coming in the first week of January. And that helps, but it's about to be gone because we got to spend it. And we just went through a whole month of December with no money. I'm not feeling very good, even though money came in, And then Sunday, January 7th came, which was 2 weeks ago, I guess? Snow, like crazy. We were short-staffed somehow, which I know why we were short-staffed, but we were short-staffed. And so it was Sunday. Me and Rachel are trying to, organize things. The guys are out in the field. The guys are out working and doing snow. And and things aren't. We notice that the jobs are taking longer than they should. We notice half of somebody's route is probably not going to get done, at least at a decent time, right? So Rachel says to me, "Hey, we got to go out and do these jobs. Like, we're going to have to do them." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." My mind was racing right away. Like, how can we do this so that we could still manage the dispatch board and still have somebody else do those jobs? Because believe it or not, managing the dispatch board on a snow day where all the workers are out working, it's a full-time job. It really is. Um, I think we have something like, I want to say 70 jobs. Um, and you got to monitor that stuff because one guy could have a route where the snow's not very thick, so he's kind of blasting through them, and then you've got somebody else who's got a route that's really thick with snow, and he's taking a long time. So at that point, you can start making moves. You can tell that guy that's going really fast, like, "Hey, man, sync your phone. I've got 3 new jobs on there for you. I need you to help out and do these 3 jobs." Boom. Um, or even figuring out, all right, here's Nico. Nico, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you, bro?
Pretty good. Been slammed with snow again.
Hell yeah.
So,
Even today?
no, today's the first day off in like a week, dude. But
Yeah.
uh, it's been
Hell
just
yeah.
constant going, which is awesome. But
Yeah. So when you got back from your trip, like,
mm,
after looking at the whole situation, how did it go?
uh, people
Not
could
good?
get in and people could get in and out of lots, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I've set this standard that it's like every time's perfect, but I right when I landed, I jumped a guy picked me up in one of my plow trucks. I
Hmm.
didn't get out of that plow truck for like 24 hours, just going and
Damn.
cleaning up everything. Um, and
With the
it's not like
worker?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it's not like I got like a bunch of complaints. Like from the airport in Des Moines to my warehouse, it's like 2 miles, and I do a lot of commercial properties on this main road. Just driving, I'm like, from the roadway, I'm like, "That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good." And maybe I'm being too nitpicky about stuff, but I'm like, "I gotta fix this stuff. Like, I can't let
Yeah.
all of this stuff go." But
So what's the problem? Like, is it because your guys are too new doing them or what?
no, because one dude's been doing it ever since I started. He's always subbed with me. Always has been my sub. He does woodworking as his main job, but he likes to plow. Um, the problem I think is the pressure, and the guy that I put in charge even said he's like, "Dude, it was scary not having you around," and, like, one of the trucks went down, snowblowers went on, he's like, "When that stuff happens, you fix it somehow and make it better, and, like, people don't notice." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Well, like, you're supposed to be me, like, you just gotta figure it out." I'm not a mechanic, I'm not, like, a small engine guy, I just, like when you're in that situation and have to get something done, it gets done. At least that's how I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Uh
Totally.
I'll go rip another snowblower apart and swap the little, like, carburetors and stuff quick just to, like, get it back on when the snowblower went down. He's like, "Well, it's garbage." Like, threw it in the back of the truck, like, upside down, so it's flooded and stuff, and I'm like, "Dude, come on."
Whoa. Oh man. So
But, I mean, it sounds bad, but it went everybody could get in and out. It was a huge storm. It was like I think this last week was the most storm, Des Moines ever got. Or the second most snow Des Moines ever got in a 7-day period. So it was a
wow.
huge
Yeah.
storms,
So
and
did any customers complain?
yeah,
Oh,
um,
really? Okay.
just like over like the commercial lots, they weren't. This is what the problem was. We have certain spots where we put the snow. Well, if it gets obviously too much snow, you either have to take it away or you have to find a different place to put that snow.
Yeah.
They just kept trying to put it on the same place where it would just start spilling out,
Yeah.
and, like, one of the places was, an easement for a strip mall, and then we do the building next to it, which is like a food pantry, and nobody could get to that strip mall because the easement that the food pantry has, it was spilled out. It's like the whole strip
Oh,
mall was closed because of my guys, which they were
wow.
pissed.
Yeah.
Um, which, like, stuff like that, I'm like, "Dude, just look,
I know.
just think for a second, just."
Yeah, dude. My issue, funny issue, is like we basically all my guys have plow trucks to start the season. We made changes so far, but like
Yeah,
they were plowing all of the driveways with the trucks, which I like. Like I'm glad that they're utilizing them that way because we've had guys in the past that had plow trucks and they would still shovel the driveways and then complain about how long they're taking. It's like, dude, you got a
yeah.
$10,000 shovel in front of your truck. Use
Yeah.
the damn thing. Um, so now they're actually all using it. The problem is they're just backing the snow out and leaving it on the street, like right in front of the damn
Mm.
driveway, dude. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Some of them have been saying, "No, I move it too." You know what I mean? So I don't know who to believe, and it's hard to kind of check everybody. You know what I mean? It's like it's really hard to do that. But that's kind of funny how like some of the guys just like I mean they don't think about like, hey, I should probably move that pile so they can get out of the driveway.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, you cleared the driveway, but now they can't get out of the driveway. Come on, man.
You know what I had that's it's the same as yours kinda, but opposite is my guy was pushing it way too much in the yard, hitting the grass, like, there'd
Oh
be dirt
yeah.
on the bottom of it. I'm like, "You don't have to go a whole truck width into the yard." He's like, "Well, I know you like it to the sides." I'm like, "Yes, but." And another thing, I don't know if you guys have ever handled this or had this. I never try to push it, like, if these are 2 corners and the mailbox is on this corner, I
Yeah,
never try to push it towards the mailbox, people get pissed and the mailman can't get in.
yeah.
He, like, has a tendency to no matter what, push it towards that mailbox. That was what a lot of the complaints were that I mean,
Wow.
if I showed you all the mailboxes now, they're, like, up to the mailbox where, like, the mailmen are sticking in, like, the door and stuff because they can't open the doors of the mailbox on, like,
Wow.
anybody's. But, the mailbox thing was a complaint, and then or going way too far into the yard was, like, a big complaint when I
Wow.
was gone, but
Yeah, no, we've never had those complaints, thankfully. I want to complain because they don't clear out my like where to put the trash. Like at my house, the snow gets pretty thick because I'm
mhm.
like facing the opposite direction of the sun, kind of like, you know what I mean? And so like the snow on my lawn will stay there longer than everybody else's on the street because of the just the way that my house is and stuff. Um, so when I have like heavy snow by where I take the trash out on the street, like it's hard to put a trash can there. Um, so like I want to complain to my own guys, but I just don't, you know. One of the guys like destroyed my mailbox. I don't know if I told you that. Like
No.
I have one of those brick, like it's a brick mailbox, a big
Yeah.
one, you know. And my guy just went in reverse and just nailed it, bro. Just boom. I actually have the recording. As all you see is like the mailbox flying, in like the whole box. So anyway, I've had my own problems with my own house, but nobody else has really complained other than a few. Like, hey, they're putting the snow in the. And really, what their complaint is, can you send a driver to come move the snow? It's not like this is the worst service I've ever had. Fix it. It's just like, hey, now can you send somebody to go do that? But anyway, bro, are you making money?
Yeah, that's, one of the good things I am making crazy money, and we're doing, I picked up some huge, huge accounts that I just do walks for, so I picked up, like, 2 more guys than I usually have every winter, or no, 3 more guys, and they're just, like, my walk crew because I have 2
Yeah.
plows, 2 guys that plow, 2 guys that ride with them, and then 3 guys that just do walks. Um, and I was kinda thinking I need something to kinda I don't know, I wanted something that, like, "Hey, I know if we do this count, like, you guys are all covered for the night, like, pay-wise, and then, like,
Hmm.
whatever." So I picked up some of those, and I mean, there's no tolerance. We go out there like 3, 4 times an event, and it's, just like a flat rate every time we go out there, even if we do like a handful of salt or we have to do all the walks. That's really good. The other thing was, I don't know when you started doing like the one man snow cruise. How long has that been since you've done that? A little while?
It's probably been the whole time, you know?
Oh, really?
We do have, a crew that has 2 guys, but he was complaining all year. He does have a big route. He also has a few commercial accounts that are, like, over $500 each,
Yeah.
and I think 2 of them are shovel walkways, so and his helper is, like, his brother that lives in the same apartment complex with him, so it's like, yeah, just have him go do it, with you.
Yeah.
But for the most part, um, well, when we were doing we did have like commercial accounts that had big walkways that, and those plow guys have big routes, so we would have a separate crew just do the walkways.
Mhm.
But I've been talking to my friend in Canada. It snows like crazy out there, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, our guys just if they have a plow job, they just do the walkways as well. Like you just factor that in. Um, but it did work when I had a crew that just did the walkways. Um, he also did residentials, but he did some walkways for the commercial accounts. That worked out good too. But now we're at the point where it's like, I don't know. I think all the shovel guys, just the walkway guys, have like 10 houses now or more. So it's
Mm.
like, just have the plow guys because now the plow guys don't have to do residentials. So I think that makes a difference too. Like if you're
Yeah.
just doing your commercial accounts, then you have time to do the walkways, and we're not going to give you. You can't do 10 commercial accounts. Well, maybe you can, but right now the guys don't have that many. Um, right now, I've got one plow guy that only has three commercial accounts,
Mm.
so he has plenty of time. And then you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
we now have like shovel guys that just do residential, and commercial guys are just doing commercial. There are some big ass houses though that need a plow. Do you have any of those?
We honestly blade like 95% of all residentials no matter
Yeah,
what, and it's
yeah,
usually me that does the residentials because 'cause I've had guys nick garages or take down a
yeah.
fence or, um I was
No, but
asking you
we
that.
have houses that like they can't shovel. It's like a runway,
Yeah,
for
like
like
a
an
quarter
airplane.
mile per hour.
You know what I mean. So like they need a shovel or the blade, and so those guys will give them to a commercial guy. You know what I mean?
Um, well, I had a situation last night or the night before when I was plowing. I was gonna go do a little residential route, like 20 houses. I was like, "Oh, you guys just jump in with me and I'll get done faster." It was me and 2 guys, the 2 shovel guys. So we're just in one truck, and I go there and back drag, push to the sides. Well, they wanted to play some little game. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna do every other one." And I was like, "No, that's not like both of you just get out and it'll go way faster." Well, then they did that, and then the one dude in the back just falls asleep. I'm like shaking him, like, "Hey, wake up, wake up." He like will not wake up. He's like pretending he doesn't feel good. I'm like, "All right, well, I can drop you off right now because I'm not gonna drive someone around sleeping." And
Yeah,
he's like, "No, I'll do it." So he gets on and like has the shovel. He's laying his head on the shovel. And he's like standing there like that. I'm like, "Come on, dude. Like, I'm just gonna leave and you can walk home if you don't want me to
yeah,
drop you off."
yeah,
Um, well, then he ended up texting me. He said that I was an asshole and that because I was like, I'm not paying you to sleep in the truck. Like, I'll clock you out
right,
right now, stuff like that. And he's
yeah,
like, you're a big like asshole, and you don't know what it's like to shovel. And also, I'm like, just like you, or like we've all done this solo at one
yeah,
point. Like, we didn't just
yeah,
start and have all these guys to do it. So,
exactly.
and you just want to sleep the whole time. I would go to sleep and get paid just riding around a truck.
Yeah.
But
So did he quit, get fired, or what?
yeah, I let him go and just told him not to come back anymore. So
Yeah, so I've been known to be like super I don't know, nice, I guess, to my guys, like way too nice and stuff. But when it comes to snow, I have like zero tolerance,
yeah,
Like that's when I know like you're either with me or you're not, is when it's snow time because I need you to be there. I need you to be there. And I don't know, the whole thing just like everybody knows, like, I think everybody knows when it comes to snow, like, my rock stars, this is for you to work so you can have money all winter and all year long. But if you screw me over or any way of the snow, like it's you can get fired, like for the
Yeah,
whole from the company, you know. So I think it's important to kind of have a big stance like that because snow is just like a bam, it's here, got to go do it now, and then it's over. You know what I mean? And if
y
you can't rely on your people or have that mentality, like so if so if the guys talking to each other at the in the yard going, "Hey, you gonna do snow?" Yeah. Hey, you can't screw up. You can get fired. So you really got to make sure you want to do this. That's kind of the culture I've been trying to create with snow, like since a long time ago. Although as you get bigger, things do change. We had a guy who I was dispatching. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? Where's so and so? It's like, dude, he requested off like 2 weeks ago for this day. So,
mm.
and I was like, "Well, I forgot. Like, why didn't you tell me?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know. I thought you knew." And it's like, "Well." So anyway, that was kind of a hard day, and I couldn't really get mad at the guy because he called off 2 weeks ago for that one day. It was a Wednesday, and so, but we got through it. But like I said, man, we've been hiring temp workers,
Yeah.
and dude, it is amazing, dude. They freed up. So my residentials are a one-time payment all year, right?
Mhm.
and and then we have to do it every time. But the problem with that is we had plow guys that were making money every storm on these big 500 plus accounts, and then they had to do residentials in between, But so what I started doing is I hired the temp workers, and it was amazing. And we took off like I think all except for like there's two houses that are still on somebody's route because they're so big. um, but that freed up all the plow guys to just do plowing. That's why one of them only has three accounts now. But those three accounts is like $2,000 or more, like $2,500 or something like that for just three accounts. So, and he has a lot of time to do it right. He can't really complain that he's got to shovel the walkways now.
Yeah.
And then another guy, he's got a harder route. I think he's got six, maybe seven, but really only two walkways. And we don't know how that's going to work out. We've got a customer that's really important to us, and now it's pushed back to like the last of his six houses or commercial accounts. But we just have to kind of see how it goes to kind of make changes after we see what happens. But I am like pretty relieved with this whole like we've had pretty much I want to say 2 weeks of snow every day or every other day, and so that pretty much filled up our snow fund like where it was when we first started in December 1st, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good about it. We got Feb deals coming, the prepayments coming in like a week.
Yeah.
We could technically start it Monday if we want because we usually did start it a week earlier than February, um, but I kind
What
of
are
don't
those
want
for
to.
then? Are those for
The Feb
mowing?
Feb deal, it's for anything that's a maintenance service. So if they prepay for the whole year, they get a 5% discount on all those services. So
Okay.
if they prepay for mowing, fertilizing, garden maintenance, like the weekly garden maintenance, um, and the spring wake up package. So they can do all of those or just one of those or whatever. But if they get all of them, I think they actually get a bigger discount. I think if they
Mm.
do all of them at once. But yeah, that we have customers that pay 30K on
Whoa.
that for those emails. One customer. And when we were struggling all of December with no snow, we were thinking of reaching out to that one customer and saying, hey, I know you usually do this in February, but it would really help us out if you do it now. And thankfully, we didn't have to do that. So everything's still going to be smooth. We got Eden here. We thought about pushing snow, but with an average of 6 events a season, it's hard to make money on it. Yeah, I think it's still something to. I still think it's a good idea to try it, just because you can only get better, you know, every year. So if like you do decide to do it in the future, you kind of know what to expect and what you need. But like I said, those temp workers, dude. So when I went out with Rachel and we shoveled half of some guy's residential list. Um, I couldn't even use the plow truck because I had the plow truck, but I just wanted to show the guys that they could shovel these driveways with the shovel if they had to, you know? So
Yeah.
we were doing them all with the shovel. And then we finished and we're like, I know there was two of us, but actually at one point Rachel did like was on the phone for two houses while I was shoveling, like the biggest houses on the entire list, the biggest
Yeah.
one, and I did it. And it took me 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like the neighbor across the street started doing it when I started doing it, and he only had like a quarter of what I had to do. He had a small driveway, almost no sidewalk. I had the longest sidewalk and the longest driveway, and I finished before he did. You know what I mean? And I haven't pushed snow for like I don't know, probably 2 years, maybe. I mean, I kind of did my house one day just because my guy forgot to do the other half of the drive sidewalk on the other side of this driveway. So I did that. And I even took a picture of it. You know, I had my son take a picture of me doing it. And I'm like, happy Sunday, everybody. You know what I mean? And I was wearing like a suit because I was going to
Yeah.
church that day. Uh, and people are like, oh, you're doing service work. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Um, but anyway,
Do
um,
you do you
I
use
got
those snow pusher shovels?
the electric ones that you've been seeing, that everybody's been seeing, or which ones?
No, like, they're like a yellow handle with, like, a white, it's kinda a pretty flat blade. They're really popular around here. They're called a
Yeah.
snow pusher.
Oh no. Well, maybe I use the blue. They're blue.
Mm.
Um, I forgot what they're called, but they're pretty. They're really smooth.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know
they're
what I
not,
mean?
like, they're not a scoop shovel at all. It's like
No, no.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what we use pretty much.
yeah.
Um, I changed all the hardware, which I just bought 5 36-inch ones. We have one 36-inch one, just one. The rest are like 24-inch or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and I just bought one because I just wanted to see if I why not? We were doing so much money like this last 2 weeks. I'm
Yeah.
like, I would try that one. So I gave it to one of the guys. He's like, dude, these are the shit. Get a bunch of these. Get a bunch of these. So I'm like, okay. So I bought five more or six more. But I got to change the hardware. The ones that come with it, I don't even know how anybody even shovels with them.
Why do
So
they come out and
yeah,
mess up?
and I've been using these shovels for like 3 years, so I've been changing the hardware, maybe even longer than that. I've been changing the hardware right away, and they work great, but it's kind of annoying. But anyway, me and Rachel did those houses super easy, and so while we were driving to the shop, we were like, "So what the hell do we have to do so we don't have to come out here anymore?" You know, like, what the hell? And she said, "Well, like we might want to look into temp workers because we had a temp worker rep come to the shop because he basically hyped up temp workers like crazy, right? Like because all they do is deal with labor kind of workers, like trade people, like snow plow guys. He didn't say snow shovel guy. He said plow guys. You know,
Mhm.
he mentioned like landscapers, like they know what they're doing. They could do pavers, like that kind of temp workers. And I was like, I don't believe it. You know what I mean? It's like I just don't believe it that you can
Yeah.
give me a worker that knows how to do a retaining wall. Like I just don't believe it, and I still don't believe it. To be honest with you, so I kind of wrote the guy off right away. You know, it's like bullshit because I've hired temp workers in the past, like my real early days. I would hire them, and I would get like the worst workers. And sometimes when my foreman, my landscape foreman was like really complaining that he wants workers, I would bring him a temp worker. And I said, here you go. I got you a body. That's what you want. Like, I can't hire anybody. Nobody's coming, nobody qualified is coming through the door. But here you go. And then he'd complain to me how bad they suck. And I'm like, well, that's what
Yeah.
happens when we need somebody so fast. So anyway, when Rachel said temp workers, I thought about this guy and I was like, well, I'll just because she's saying we need to do something, I'm going to do my part and look into it. So I could at least say I looked into it. You know what I mean? So I called the guy up. And anyway, it was a Sunday. And me and Rachel were working our ass off. So I forget it's Sunday, but the guy answers. And he's like, yeah, dude. So he starts talking to me about it. And I said, dude, let me try. I want five snow shovel guys, just five. And I don't need plow guys. So I don't believe that anybody's going to, I'm not going to give anybody a truck that I
Yeah.
don't know with a plow. So just give me 5 people with trucks or four-wheel drive cars. I don't care if it's all-wheel drive or whatever, you know? Anyway, they give me a list right away. I call everybody and they're texting me their pictures of their cars because I need a picture of your car. They're like, "You want a picture of me?" I'm like, "No, I don't give a shit about you. I want a picture of your car. Send me your car picture." So, and they're all sending me these little Toyota Camry cars. I mean, the smallest cars you could think of, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, holy crap. So I went through the whole list and everybody called me. First of all, why is Mad Rose saying no? All right. Okay. Well, anyway, and then these nuts on treetop. Okay. Um, so so anyway, they're sending me these pictures of these little cars, and I'm like, crap. So I went through the whole list. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? Like, uh, hold on one second here. Did you see what that was? Let's see.
Mine goes away super fast for some reason.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see here.
These nuts. Okay.
All right. Here we go. I think we could do this. Man, people must be bored out of their minds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? So anyway, um, I went through the whole list of all these people with these little dinky cars. I mean, they're nice cars. They're not pieces of crap. They're nice cars, but they're too small for snow in my mind. So I went through the whole list, and then I was like, shit. Well, so I call the temp agency, and I'm like, dude, they all have little tiny cars. Like they go, well, sorry, they're telling me they have four-wheel drive trucks, and I'm sending you their number. So anyway, I'm like, well, screw it. I'm kind of desperate enough to at least try out if their cars are going to work. You know what I mean? So I call one of the guys and I say, "Hey, come to the shop right now. I'll go over everything with you. I'll make sure you download the app." So they show up. I make sure they have a smartphone. And anyway, I talk to them about the job. I even put 3 jobs on them so I can kind of train them. Hey, let's act like you came up to the shop or to the job. This is what you do. You take a picture here, stop job, and go on to the next. It's that freaking simple. You know what I mean? So anyway, I do that with 3 guys
Yeah.
that day, that same day, 3 guys, and they're all ready to go. And I give them a shovel and enough salt for 2 rounds if they had to do it. And they took them in their in their trunks and left. And then when it snowed, like the next day, they did their houses and done. I mean, they took a little longer than my guys probably would have took, but as I was complaining, I wasn't really complaining, but I was telling my main guy, like, "Hey, dude, the temp workers they did good, but they're still like they're still like on their last house." Like, well, you can't be too upset because it's the first time and they didn't even know how to get to the houses and stuff like that. So I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." Anyway, the next day they go even faster, and by like the 5th storm, one of the guys has 12 houses. I've never given anybody that many houses,
Oh,
and
really?
he's a temp worker. You know what I'm saying? The other guys probably could do more, but they're in an area where they don't need to, and it's totally fine. And these guys get paid hourly, like only when it snows, not like my main guys that are on salary. So this is actually working out amazing. And what I was able to do eventually was give all of the residentials to those 3 workers. So
Oh,
they pretty
nice.
much have all the residentials. And then my plow guys, which are 5 plow guys, I have 7 plows, but only 5 are out and being used. Um, they're all now have all residentials, commercials, except for 2 of them. So I'm like waiting for the next storm because we're going to be so efficient and be able to like knock out all of those commercial accounts probably by like 9 o'clock or even earlier, and it's going to be amazing. So
It those temp workers, isn't it their goal to get, like, permanently hired on too? Have they talked to you about that, or
yeah, well, I've talked to the temp agency. Their agreement, their policy is after 6 months, then I can poach them if I want.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I called them up after this was working out so good, and all I could think, like, I don't think I have ADD, but I might, but I don't think so. But I have that thing where you hyper focus on something and I can't stop thinking about it till it's
Yeah.
over. You know what I mean? And so all I kept thinking about is how good this is working. And so I called them up. I called the temp agency up and I said, "Look, what if I have an agreement with you that everybody I hire, even if I hire them, I'll put them through your system and do a like a what do you call it? Like a probation period
Mhm.
where I won't hire them on full time unless they pass my month probation. But if they don't work out, at least you have them in your system. And you can send them wherever you want. So if what do you think of that?" She's like, "I love it. Do it. Let's do it." And I said, "Okay, so if we do that, um, I need to be able to hire these guys after 4 weeks, after 4 checks." She's like, "Done." And then and I said, "But this rule needs to apply even with the first three that I got from you." you know?
Mm.
And she had to call me back, and she goes,
Yeah.
"Okay, we'll do it. I think it's a great idea." So right now, pretty much, and I said it's only for like the garden and mowing division, like the labor kind of stuff, not like the sprinkler guys, or like a big landscaper or something like that. Just like helpers kind of
Yeah.
position, um, because there have been people I did want to hire, but I was scared for the commitment. It's like you hire somebody, now you're committed to keep them busy, or, um, you know, I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to go through that, and so I talked to the guy, my buddy that I had his phone number. Well, he's my buddy now, but he's the temp rep that came to the shop the first time to tell me about this whole thing, in the middle of summer. Um, anyway, I was talking to him because now we kind of work out at the gym together.
Hmm.
And I said, "Hey, so your boss, because he doesn't work there anymore. That was his last day. That he took my phone call and signed me up and everything. That was his last day.
Oh, really?
He had already put in his 2 weeks and all that stuff. So anyway, I was talking to him at the gym, and I told him that deal that like, hey, they've agreed to let me take the workers after 4 weeks because I'm going to start just putting all my employees, my new hires through their program." He's like, "Holy crap! I've never seen them do that. Like they've never done that before. Like they've always been strict on the 6 month rule." And I'm just like, "Well, I gave them a pretty good reason to let me do it. So it's going pretty good. I would definitely look into that. My first thought was like, so here's the deal. We have an area called Draper, Utah, that it's basically it snows every day. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if they had snow today. Nobody else did. I can't send a car there. I just can't. So I know I can't send them there, but like the rest of the my service area, I can. And even on the busy days, like there's another area that's hit or miss. Uh, but we've had the strongest storms too. I don't think it's been the strongest like in history for us, but they were pretty thick. And so I call the temp worker. I'm like, "Hey, how's your car doing?" He's like, "Oh, it's fine. Like I got here no problem." I'm like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't see there ever being a problem with my car going to these houses." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So that's something I never would have known unless I did it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, some of the side roads around here when we get, like, 2 storms been, like, 12 plus inches with, like, 30-mile-per-hour winds, so it's drifting. My
sheesh.
plow trucks will get, like, stuck, and you have to put the plow
Wow.
down or mess it so I'm, like, just in my
Yeah.
head thinking, like, if a storm like that came, because you drive down main streets here when it's snowing, I mean, every block
Yeah.
there's a car that's on the other side of the median in a ditch hitting a pole or
What about the days where you wake up and it's just snow on the ground? No, it's not snowing anymore, and it's like 4 a.m.
mm, I don't know, it's like the past couple years here, which I don't know what kind of consistency your snow has, but it's super every snow seems to be, like, super wet and slushy and, like, really heavy and hard to move, and that's where, like, I don't know, even the guys who work for me, they'll have cars and they go on really main streets to get here, and I'll get a call, "Hey, I'm stuck, can you pick me up at this gas station? I can't get out." I'm like,
Jeez.
"Okay, well, I don't know what" like, if they tow your car or whatever, I don't know, but they've actually these past 2 storms, I don't know if they do this where you're at much, but They pull the city plows off the roads. Like there's nobody plowing because they just can't
Holy
keep up with it.
moly. Damn, that's bad, dude.
Yeah,
No, well, I
yeah.
guess you got it pretty bad. No, we
But it's only snowed 3 times this year. It's like when it does snow for some reason, it's like crazy. But then like
wow.
next week, it's supposed to be like 40 for like a whole week. So
Yeah, me too.
uh,
So you've only had 3 storms?
yeah, yeah. Three
Holy damn.
plowable things. I've salted
Wow.
like maybe 5 times besides that, but it was like, hey, it's gonna snow for a half hour, and our commercial sites we salt like no matter what. But actually moving, and we've only been on because our residentials are on 2 inch triggers. Everything's on a 2 inch trigger. We've only done those twice, and we've done commercial pushing 3 times. That's it. Um,
Wow. Yeah. Not yeah, I think we pushed, probably wanna say in 2 weeks, uh, probably 10 times or 8, 8 or 10
wow.
times in just 2 weeks. We're actually on storm number I probably need to make a new route, but I think we're on storm 19 or 18,
Wow.
overall, but not all of those storms have been, like, plowable, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, some of them, like, a quarter of the list needed it, you know? So 19, yeah, we're on storm number 18. I do wanna start tracking all the 100% plowable lists, but we don't do that so far, so and I don't really know how to record that,
With
with
your
Service
prepay
Autopilot.
with your prepay accounts, the residential, you guys is that like a no tolerance? So every time there's a half inch, you go clean it, everything?
Yeah, even if it's a flake, we gotta do it.
Really?
Yeah, and that's because, customers will cancel, like, obviously, when they prepaid, they're kinda committed and they don't really think about it anymore, but it
Mhm.
kinda first started when we used to sell a 10-pack. We sell 10 packs. That's I think that was pretty much the first snow charging I would do was everybody had to buy a 10-pack. Um, and then when we used up the 10, they had to buy another 10. Um, and so people were calling saying, "Hey, I don't need it today," you know, because it was really thin or whatever. But I already had guys out, and it's like, dude,
Yeah.
I, you can't really do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
No. So, so anyway, that's when it got kind of turned into like, all right, so you're paying all winter. That way, nobody's going to say don't come. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever said that anymore. The problem we get every once in a while is like the neighbor will do somebody's driveway because they don't know that they paid for the whole year, and my guys will show up and go, "Oh, the ghost of Merry Christmas did this property, so I don't need to check the walkways or anything." And they
Yeah.
leave. And then we get a call back going, "Hey, my neighbor did the driveway, but nobody did the walkways. Like, can your guy come back?" It's like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, "Oh, well, I thought somebody else did it." Who the hell do you think is gonna do your list in the morning up in the mountain on 3 back roads back there, like in an alley? Who's gonna do that for you? No, man, go do make sure. So that's been an issue. Not too often. It's just like the same customer that has the same damn neighbor messing us up.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that way works out best because at that point, like we can say we're on storm number 18. Yeah, you probably didn't need it every time, but you had somebody there looking at your property 18 times already this year. So you definitely got your money's worth. So at the beginning of the season, we'll have customers that say, "Hey, so what happens if it doesn't snow?" It's like, well, we've been doing this for about 10 years and it snows on average 10 times. So if at least we go and look at your property and at least shovel 10 times, you got your money's worth. If not, you still had somebody on call that we paid all year. Um, and if it really doesn't snow like 10 times or 5, we'll probably credit your snow account or your account. And we said that last year, and there was a lot of customers we credited 5 because when we sold them the job, it was like if you prepay for the snow, we'll credit your account $500 or 400 or 300. I don't remember. Like one of those three, we always did, right?
Mhm.
Just to get the salespeople to get this close them. Um, but we stopped doing that, so we didn't do that this year. because we know it's going to snow. Like it just always does, you know. But what's going on? What's heavy on your mind lately?
I guess this is a question for you. Whenever it snows here, I probably get, I don't know, 30 to 50 calls. Hey, can you come do my driveway? The guy didn't show up. This, that, this, that. Do you even entertain those? Or, I mean,
Yeah,
if I
it's
do, I give them honestly,
yeah,
kind of a ridiculous price. I'm like, hey, for
right.
this, I'll come out
Yeah.
after. Well, I see you in the neighborhood. I'm like, yeah, we have like 25 more residential. Like, we got to keep these guys going. And then after everything, we can come back out and do it. But it's going to be kind of a crazy price, and it's going to probably be in like 8 hours. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So we feel pretty confident in our guys that we have. Um, so we kind of know that if so, and it's an ongoing conversation with me and Jose and Rachel, right? It's like, hey, if a customer calls and they're in Ray's route, we can do it. So
yeah.
keep that in mind. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Or right now it's like, hey, it's 5 in the morning. It's crazy. We had an accident already today, so don't take any customers today. So it's something we're
Oh,
always
okay.
like on top of. You know what I mean? And then when the storm's over, it's like, hey, those 5 emails. So we keep a list of all the customers that called for that. Like if somebody says, hey, can you do my parking lot? We'll look at it. If it's not in the area, we tell them, hey, here's how much it would be, but we're not authorized to take clients today. That's the wording we use. We're not authorized to take clients today. Um, and then we'll take that name and we'll take the name if it's a commercial account. I forgot what the other thing we look for, and then we write it on the whiteboard in the office. And then by the end of the day, we record them on an Excel spreadsheet that has all our, we call it the winter wait list, and then we put it on there. And then what we do is like, let's say we finish a storm and we did it as best as possible, and we see that, hey, this person over here he can do an extra one, he can do another one. We'll call that customer that's in that area and say, hey, we're authorized to take your account because we have a driver in the area that we can do that. But we don't do one-time jobs. So if that customer says it's just a one-time thing, we'll just flat out say no.
Yeah.
You have to be on our route. I mean, they could lie and say sure and then cancel after it. You know what I mean? I guess that's the loophole, but that's how we do it, and it works out really good. But it sounds kind of chaotic, but it's really not, because right now everybody knows that if somebody calls and Ray's route, we can do it. The
Mhm.
only exception is like if it's a plow residential, we won't. No, we can't do that. We don't like those. That has to be done with the plow because it's so damn big
Yeah.
that the shovel guy would take 2 hours to do it. Even though we have the plow guy in there, we would rather keep the plow guys on commercial properties just so that, you know what I mean? They're not doing those prepaid jobs or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of how it works for us. But you got to be in constant communication, constantly knowing like what you're doing. So we rearrange the routes for this next storm. We know Ray can take another one. We know that for sure. Um, but everybody else, we have to wait to see how it goes, and then we're gonna update the who can take a new house or a new commercial account.
How do you charge for snow? Do you do like around here? I guess it's probably the same for you, but there's either like a per push per event.
Yeah,
Some guys do like a per inch. Some guys do. I've heard of guys doing like charging them an hourly rate. And then some guys do like per bag of salt. Sometimes guys do just like a per salting event. How do you do it?
we have zero tolerance. So if we go there and we can't plow because if the layer is too thin, we will salt. And we charge. So the salt is charged by the square foot, given to them at time of estimate created. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So they'll get an estimate for the plowing, for the salting, the parking lot, and the shoveling of the sidewalk. So we also need to do a salting of just the sidewalk because we've been getting a lot of times where the guys will have to do the plowing, and for some reason the sidewalks don't need it,
Yeah.
and they just salt it because they don't want anybody to slip. but we don't have a salting price for that. And the few times, I think I told you this, I was charging them for the salting, but they never got a quote for it, so that they complained, and Rachel made me take them off.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do that. They didn't get a quote for that, and you're charging them for salting. I'm like, but we salted the walkways, and we didn't shovel, and we're not charging them for the shovel price. We're charging them like less for putting salt. Like, it's like, we can tell them for next time, but you can't do it right now. It's like, all right, fine. So she took them off. Um, but that's kind of how that works. And it's so if the guys show up and it's like it looks like a summer day, like we had one big property. It's like our biggest one. The guys were running late as hell. By the time they got
Yeah.
there, it was like literally like 11 a.m. They show up and it looked like a summer day. No salt, no ice, no snow, clear as day. And they take a picture of it, skip it on the app, and leave. And we don't charge for anything for that because literally nothing was done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry, I'm grabbing a charger quick. Forgot.
yeah, go for it.
These things kill your phone like
I
instantly.
know, I know. I've had to charge mine to make sure. Damn it, I don't know how to do this. 1 second. All right. Well, yeah, I just kind of wanted to do a quick Q&A. Keep this thing going. I thought maybe we'd get more questions from people watching, but nobody really asked anything. And I kind of wanted to know how your snow was doing, to be honest with you, because I know that when you went on your trip, it was snowing. You were worried about that. So I guess I got the update. I guess I'll ask So what are you going to do to fix that problem so it goes smoother next time?
I think I have to be. I don't know. I'm a very, very, very laid back, lenient person, and everybody knows that. And I guess maybe I put on the impression that I was like just so worried about the timeliness of it. And I honestly do think because I went to some sites and I'm like, it's all cleared, everybody can get out, but it's just like not that clean. Like he didn't go. Maybe they're like still like because we do like a couple townhouse associations and they have private roads that are pretty long, and he'd be like 4 foot away from the edges on each of them. And they're like, "Hey, this is supposed to be like a 2 lane drive," and it's like really not anymore.
Hmm.
Stuff like that, and then like I don't know, it like wasn't terrible. I probably make it way worse than it is just because I like care about it a lot. But I think I put into like the guy's head more, which is I 100% take like responsibility for it. Is like, hey, we gotta like these have to be open up by 7 a.m. These at 8, these at 9. These residents have to be done by 8:30. Like, because all these people want different things, and I try to like accommodate for everybody, which maybe is like a huge downfall I do for snow. Is I try to, dude. There's like if we start at 3 a.m., we're starting at these two, and even if it doesn't make sense in our route, we'll go. You go over here and do these two because these guys want out by 7. Then you'll come back and we'll do these 8 o'clock ones. What I should probably just do, hey, everyone on the south side, we'll get those done. Then we're gonna move to Central, and then we're gonna move to South of Grand, and kind of make a actual route. But I mean, for snow at least, I know, and I've been told by other owners, I do charge a very pretty high price for everything, just because I know I accommodate to all those things. Like,
Hmm.
hey, you will not find another company that will get you out by 7 a.m. if it starts snowing at 6:55. Like we will be there and we'll make sure everything can get out and you'll be out and nothing's wrong. And people know that. And I've had people call me like, hey, uh, I've hired 4 companies this year. Nobody can get me out. I've heard that you guys can and you guys are really good. I know it's gonna be pricey. And I'm like, but at a point now, I'm like, we can't have 70 people at 7 a.m. because I only have 2 trucks running. Like
Right.
it just got to keep like going up, and I'm trying to like thin it by
So
that way.
do
But
your guys take the trucks home or no?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we do too.
it's
And I basically route each truck from their house. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Which I try to do that. The one guy lives like 40 minutes outside of town, and I don't even know why he plows, to be honest. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why he wants to do it so bad, but he does. And his first stop's like, because him just getting to Des Moines is like 40 minutes, and it's like 20 minutes past that. And I'm like, dude, this is the only thing that will make sense. So like, I'm not gonna be mad if you don't want to do snow. He's like, no, 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 I want it, I want it, I want to do it. And I'm like, that's fine. So he has, if we start at 2 a.m., he has to be up and trying to get out because he lives in the country too. So
Yeah.
his gravels and stuff are always like plowed in, and he's like, I have to get up at like midnight if we're going out at 2. And I'm like,
Damn.
you want to do this, so
Yeah.
I won't be
Yeah.
mad if you don't. But it's cool. He's like that dedicated to. He's my best guy. Um, but I kind of feel I pay him really well because dude, if we're out for 20 hours and like we really need to hit this townhouse again, he'll be like, I'll go do it. You go back and you make sure the other guys get done. I'll go do it. I'm like, awesome. But he's the guy who had in charge. And I don't know. Like he said, he's like, it's so much smoother when you're here. And I'm like, that's really like nice to hear, I guess, in a way. But I don't want that anymore. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't want to have to like be fixing everything and on every site and making sure everything's good. Like,
I know the issue with snow too is like you don't really know how it's going to go until you do it, you know, and then you can make changes. And to only have 3 storms, I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
tough to try and fix everything because you're still kind of trying to do it. You're like, you know, it's not like you're perfect on the third storm. You're still kind of figuring things out. You know what I mean?
yeah. And that
Um,
was only the second storm when I left, so we only had one
yeah,
storm. And I
yeah,
mean, it always like the first couple of storms are smoothing everything out and like, hey, this didn't make sense. We're gonna reroute this, or this guy doesn't do this good. You switch him. And I was trying to do all that, and I like prepped for like ever on that. And then it's like was bad. So I'm like, if I was there, I could fill in and do these things that maybe they didn't like or whatever. But I
yeah.
guess
Like even go ahead.
here's a question for you: is like how because I used to work for a guy that has a company here, and he's very, very, very blunt and is not personable at all. And honestly, it's kind of like an ass a lot of the times, but he really likes me. But he doesn't like even the guys he talks to. He does not talk to very much. But he's like, dude, you just got to give him the route, tell him to do it or leave, and like go to bed or go on your trip. Like it's not. He's like, it's your company, but it's not your responsibility to get these things done anymore. Which I like kind of understand, but in a way, I'm like, I used to work for you, and I remember how much of a shit show it was at some snows. It's like I don't think that works that good. Like, dude, if you
Yeah.
called him, he wouldn't answer till like 8 a.m. because he would just sleep regularly. He had no like
Yeah.
manager that was up,
Wow.
and
Wonder
I
what that would be
remember,
like. I mean, the liability, like I worry about snow because of the liability, right? It's like,
yeah,
if somebody was calling me and they're like, "Hey, are you guys coming?" And I knew that maybe there's a voicemail that said that and I didn't care. Like if somebody actually hurts themselves, they can use that against you. Like, "Hey, I was trying to call you guys to come and it was before this person got hurt." You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then somebody got hurt because you weren't there and you didn't answer my call. So I mean, you're kind of liable for sure. So it's like I worry about all those things. So I don't see how somebody could just be like, "I don't care." Like, sure, we do pay our workers, but they pay the workers getting paid from the company, meaning that's who's responsible. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. What is
So yeah,
transitioning kind of out of snow? I know snow's not done at all, but like how you're talking about those February pre-sale deals.
yeah, yeah. Feb deals
When do you are you going to start like marketing heavier in February for summer uh, services?
for sure. So my season pretty much starts in March, but February is when the phones are buzzing like crazy. Like
Oh,
that's when
really?
the season starts in the office. It's like because we send those blasts out to all the customers, and some of them are just calling to ask questions, about the year. What's my price? Hey, I also wanted to do this service. You guys did mowing for me last year. Do you guys also do this? Because they have a lot more time to like research the company and stuff. So there's just the phone is constantly ringing. I want the garden managers to kind of get familiar with their customers again so that they can get back on the schedule because we don't have anything on reoccurring services like subscription, like
Mhm.
it's not like we tried that with mowing and we still probably could kind of do that kind of stuff, but it's just better for us to just do it as they say yes, so it's controllable, manageable for us. If we just did everybody, it'd be chaos, and then we'd
Yeah.
be like super pissed if like people moved and we're charging them and they're pissed for that. You know what I mean? So it's just better to just do it the way we're
Mm.
doing. It takes a little bit more manpower in the office, but that's when it's buzzing, bro. It's like the phones like are nonstop. I come in like when February starts, like we're charging like 5 to 10K a day every day.
Dang.
I know it's freaking amazing. And the beauty about this year, if it continues to snow like this, all that Feb deal money will get entered into budgets for the whole year. But sometimes if it's really bad and I want to keep my workers, like some of that money goes for to pay them now. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like to pay the good ones now. Luckily, we have a small team, so it's even if that worst case scenario happened, it wouldn't be very much, considering all the money that does come in. But my goal is to make sure that as much of that Fed deal money goes to ops account, profit, immediately, like profit, just go in there now, and operations and whatever accounts we have to pay for all the stuff that we're going to pay for. You know what I mean? So that's going to be really cool because it's happening. Like it seems like it's going to happen because I think we have enough money from our winter fund last year that we ended up with from the pre-sales. That's what I should say. The pre-sale snow money, not the snow fund money, the pre-sale snow money, plus the storms we've had these last 2 weeks. We pretty much have enough money to get us through to the end of February.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, the Feb deal, that's something we trained like. So we'll have customers that call like December, like in June, July, maybe even earlier, and say, "Hey, if I pay for the whole year, can I get a discount?" You know,
Yeah.
and they don't know us. They just say that because most companies probably would say yes, and we say no. We do for the fertilizing. I'll be honest with that. We haven't done that in 3 years though, and we actually had a little meeting if we're going to do that again. I think we should for a brand new customer, but like maybe for brand new customers, it should be fine for anything. But like a customer that's been paying already on their services, they want to prepay for the whole year in the middle of the season. We just say no. Like we're so firm on no, you have to wait till February. And I think we've done that for so long over the years that like, damn, bro, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. It just went black for a little
Shit. No, that's why I didn't want to use my phone,
bit.
man. And I gotta look at the video again when it went black. Was it when I like hit the screen? You think, or did
It
it
was
just
right
happen
bef
automatically?
Yeah, I just couldn't hear you for a second. I saw you hit the screen, then it went black. It was only like
That's
5
why I want to
seconds on my
use.
end.
That's why I want to use another phone. But the phone was causing that static pop or whatever. The other phone I was using. Um, that's what happens when my phone rings. So somebody's
Oh,
calling
okay.
me. So yeah, I got to figure out a way to not do that. Oh, Dan's saying, hey, Dan was a sprinkler guy with me for a little bit. I guess I want to say 2 years ago. I wrote his name instead of saying what's up.
Do you know golden retriever said hi? I don't know. Or no.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
golden
yeah,
retriever.
yeah. But I don't know who that is. I'll just say what's up, Golden.
What's your are you gonna keep these going through the summer? Or does it get too
Oh
crazy in the
yeah,
summer? Okay.
no, I should be fine. I mean, especially if we do them on Saturdays. So hey, what did you think of my last interview podcast I've done?
I to be honest, I have not watched um
None of them?
no, I've watched all of them besides the very last one with kind of the Mexican dude. I forget his
Oh,
name.
yeah, Walter.
Yeah, Walter. I've not watched that one, but I watched the one with the dude. Does he have long hair with like glasses? From
Oh, yeah,
Canada,
yeah,
maybe.
Christian.
Him, the all
What'd
the
you
other
think
ones.
of
I'm
them?
not gonna.
What'd you think? What'd you think?
I like them. I think they're cool because it's not like it's weird because I feel like when we come on or I come on, it's more I don't know, maybe casual or me kind of more like just asking you stuff, which I like that. I just like
Yeah, me
asking
too.
questions. And with these guys, it's like completely different topics. Like one guy, you could really be like on the whole business aspect, like, hey, how'd you
Yeah.
grow to this? Or it's kind of cool to see like now with this Walter guy, what kind of did you hound in on and uh, really talk about like that Canadian guy was way different than there's another dude that was before him. I think he's another kind of Mexican dude.
Yeah, Mike.
Mike,
Oh,
yeah,
no, he's not Mexican. But yeah, I don't know. I think I've done 3, maybe
yeah. There's
4.
another,
Oh,
uh,
Roy.
yeah, Roy, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's who it is. I liked his a lot. I don't know. I just like I literally do what you say. Like I just go like work on something, just put him on my headphone, just listen because it's always
Yeah.
uh informative. When are you gonna start the? Are you gonna do the tour thing?
Yeah, I want to. And then I thought as I was talking at the end of Walter's video, when I was like, "Hey guys, I need you guys to subscribe so we can build the channel up," because I could bring guys like Walter to the shop. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like instead of me going out, I could just kind of have interviews here, walking them through. Because if when you listen to, so Walter came to my shop a year ago, last February. He came to my shop, and he was here for like 3 or 4 days. Um, and he was just soaking up everything. You know what I mean? I pick him up in the morning when I came into work at 7 or 6, and he'd with me until 5. Now
Yeah,
he did come during a time where it was like this time, right? Where we didn't. I don't even think it snowed when he came, so it was just like a lot of strategy stuff in the office. We were also having an employee, like the whole kickoff for all the workers at Top Golf, so he was able to go into that, go do that. But so he didn't really get to see like the operation of like how everything is done. I just answered all his questions and showed him what we're doing. You know what I mean? Which is what he wanted to learn because he wanted to
yeah,
get out of the field. So if you listen, when you listen to that, he's at 350K. He ended the season at 350K. And before that, he was, I think, 200. So in 2022, he was 200K. Like he ended the season at 200. But his whole goal to come out here was to learn like more like uh, on the business stuff, not in the business stuff, you know? So anyway, and I just gave him as much information as I could. And then when I did the interview with him yesterday, he was kind of like telling me all the stuff that he learned when he came here. And I just kind of forgot all the stuff that we talked about, but it was kind of cool to hear him do that. So I think that that would be beneficial to do that kind of stuff with people, is like have them come through, kind of show them, some tips or tricks or whatever they're dealing with, and then kind of doing a follow up with them. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Or like even asking them, going over what we do to fix their problem, and then having them come back. Because I don't know, that was pretty cool with Walter. But Walter's been watching the videos since like day one. Always
Really?
like commenting on it from like day one, and then just even I think I want to say like 2 years ago, that's when he started like really leaving more longer messages on Instagram and stuff like that. And then so one day he was like, "I know this is random, but can I come to your shop, like do a shop tour or whatever?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." Like for you, yes. At that time, I think I was charging people, to come to the shop, and
Oh,
I'll
really?
at least I was telling people that. And then that's when he got the idea to want to do it. And I said, "Well, for you, you don't need to pay because you've been a long time. like supporter of the channel and stuff. So you definitely can come. So he came to the shop. It was really cool, and to hear all the stuff he learned, it was like, damn, I forgot about all those things that we talked about. But
Are you gonna do any more like recorded, edited videos, or you like just the lives?
yeah, no, I definitely want to, for sure. Um, it's just it's not like easy for me, you
Yeah.
know. Like I don't know. I feel like I need to do something where a little different than I used to do. Just kind of like the day in the life stuff. It's too hard to edit. It's too hard to save all that footage. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
your phone can only hold so much. You know what I mean? And even if you had a camera and then uploading it to something else that gets full. You know what I mean? So it's just not easy for me. So it's like these are perfect because it's like turn it on and go and turn it off. It's done. The hardest thing was like building these thumbnails, and I figured out how to do them really fast. You know,
Yeah, you have
so
had better thumbnails, yeah.
yeah. So and they're not even perfect, but they're better. Than they used to be. And but yeah, I still feel like I'm best when somebody's helping me do the videos, but I've
Mhm.
never had anybody do good, like really good videos. Like, and that's a lie. They've all done good jobs, obviously, but like to where it could be quick, easy, put it up same day. Like I've never had anybody do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's what YouTube needs is like you need to post 3 times a week consistently and good content. You know what I mean? to get to get it to grow. And I don't know. I don't think I can do it yet. It's just
Do
too much work.
do you watch any other lawn care YouTubers, like, consistently, or
Not really. No. I watch podcasts
Yeah.
of like other industries that like just it celebrities on podcasts, that's the kind of stuff I watch. I do every once in a while I'll put on Tigran.
Mhm.
Um, he's the only one I could watch a whole video and be like, all right, like in the middle of the video, I'm not like, what the hell am I doing with my life? You know what I mean?
I enjoy
Like,
his
like
Instagram.
watching these big YouTubers go to the hardware store buy chickens. It's like, dude, ah,
Yeah.
I'm not into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
funny.
but yeah, what would you say? What'd you say, dude?
I like Tigran's Instagram. I
Oh
don't follow
yeah,
him on
yeah,
YouTube, but his Instagram's pretty entertaining.
yeah,
I like how he's kinda is really sarcastic all the time with trolls, and,
yeah, dude. I love
if
it
you
too.
read some of the comments, it's like, "You guys really think this is serious?" Have you ever met him?
No,
You
no,
haven't?
never met him. No, I met Mike Andes a couple of times, just at conferences where like he's going into the elevator or coming out of the elevator. And every time I've met him, I think I've met him 3 times, and all 3 times he acted like, well, he probably didn't know who I am, but remembered like he didn't even remember that he ever knew me. It was always like introducing myself for the first time, um, but which like I don't care, obviously, like I know
Yeah.
he's super busy or whatever. Like, and he's got all these franchise owners to deal with. Like, I definitely don't blame him. Tigre, no, no, I was considering joining Goat Gang
Mhm.
uh, a few times, and I just never did it, and I probably should have because it was before he was really blowing up. We would comment. I would comment on his YouTube because at one point he was like at 3 million or 2.5, and I was like right behind him. And so I would let him know, hey, I've got a landscape business too. And I'm right nipping at your heels with revenue wise. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And he would like, he gave me a like or something like that. But no, I like Tigran's. I just like how he's taking life by the balls. I just like that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, yeah, I think he pays way too much for his trucks, but I'm not going to be like, sorry, hold on. Um, I'm not somebody that cares how much you spend on your equipment and your trucks. I don't give a shit, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like good if that's what you want, Good for you. Because people would probably say that about me. They'd be like, "Dude, why'd you buy that $10,000, $12,000 mower?" Like, well, because I felt like I needed it. Like, shut up. I don't care. So I don't care, but I like how he's running his business the way he wants, and he's not, he's killing it. Like, is he making enough to pay for that Lamborghini? Yeah, he lives. Well, now he has a house, but at the time he was like in an apartment complex. So yeah, he's probably making enough to afford the Lamborghini, but he lives in an apartment complex. But I'm not gonna like talk bad about that. Like,
Yeah.
he's got the car of his dreams, dude. I wish I had a freaking Lamborghini and single. You know what I mean? It's like, damn. I mean, I don't want to be single. In case my wife is listening, I super happy and love my wife, and I never would want to be single again. But when I was, to have a Lamborghini and to live in an apartment, like, dude, he's living life like crazy. But do you know what he's doing with the 10x thing? Do you know anything about that?
Uh, no, not about what
Do you
he's
know? Do
doing
you know
with
what
it.
10x? Well, I see you got the 10x rule book back there.
Yeah, I've read that book. I've read it like a
So,
couple times now.
there's another book, the Nine Figure Mindset by
Okay.
Brandon Dawson.
Mhm.
He's partners with Grant Cardone.
Let me write
Um,
that down.
so this dude, Brandon. So first of all, Tigran's been a fan of Grant for like ever. You know that, right?
Mhm.
And he's put in well over a quarter million, maybe even $500,000 by this point into Grant Cardone. Do you know that?
No, no, I didn't know that.
Okay. And so he gets a little check because Grant Cardone had this little thing where you know if you put in like basically um, what is it called, like community funding. He would do that and buy properties, and then whoever help fund that
Oh,
gets
yeah,
a
I do.
piece of it.
Yeah, I've heard of
So
it,
he
yeah.
was doing that, but then and that's when Tigran was an investor into that. So he's been investing for a long time. And then this dude, if you read the book, The Nine Figure Mindset, which if you read a lot of books, I recommend it. If you only read one book a year, I don't recommend that you waste your money on that one, but it's pretty damn
Mhm.
good. Okay. So anyway, this dude, Brandon, gets the attention of Grant Cardone, and he explains how he does that in the book. But anyway, Grant Cardone finally had a meeting with him, and he's like, I don't. He basically pitches his idea, what he does, and Grant was like, I don't believe it, but why don't you show me you can do this? Show me, and it'll work. So they started a company together called Cardone Ventures. So I don't know if you've seen that Instagram or anything, but
Mhm.
Brendan Dawson is basically him and his wife are this. His wife is the CEO of Cardone Ventures, uh, and so what they do with that is they take companies like Tigran's. So Tigran is part of this now. So what they basically do is they go in companies. They went into Tigran's company basically in a way because they went in there. Tigran had to give them equity into his company. But now it's they're part owners of that company, and they go in there and 10x the hell out of it.
Mm.
Okay, they strip it so it's just profitable profit. All it is just a profit machine, and then but they get a piece of those profits. So that's Cardone Ventures. And then what they do is if they were to ever sell it or something like that, you would now become part of the company that bought it and all this stuff. So it's kind of a big thing, but it's like super expensive and super scary, right? But
Yeah.
there's big dudes like big companies now that have done it when they were small, and they're huge now on Instagram and YouTube, like that 10x Health. I don't know if you ever see anything like that, but like
Mm.
this guy named Greg, he's like the one that made the UCF guy all fit. I don't know if you've seen that or anything like
UCF,
that. Yeah,
no.
Dana White.
Oh, UFC?
Yeah, yeah, UFC. Sorry,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
Dana White. So Dana White has like this health story, right? Of like why he's so fit now and all that stuff is because this guy named Greg hooked them up, and Greg is one of those companies that Cardone went in and I would say Brandon went in, gave him equity to it. They 10x'd it. So the guy was making 250,000 in revenue a month. Now they're making $4 million a month, and now he's like doing this to celebrities. So it's
Oh
like
wow.
the Cardone thing is like legit. You know what I mean? But it's one of those crazy things where not only do they just come, they don't just you can't, hey, do this to my business. No, you've got to pay. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's like, and it's not cheap too. I think there's like two waves. The first wave is like 30,000 bucks. And at that point, they're not in your business at all. They're just kind of giving you information, wanting you to do some of this legwork on your own, and they give you this big old book of homework to do. And then the next phase, like 6 months later, and that's when they take a look at everything, and that's when, if you do want to go through with it, it's like 60K, and then they bring you on and they jack it up. But
Do
so,
you recommend people reading that textbook?
oh hell yeah!
I
So
think what
you've
it
never read it? You've never read it?
No, I read it a couple times now.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I read it I don't read it every year, but, like, every other year, probably, I, like,
Yeah,
at least try to read it. It more, like, just, like, kinda amps me up, like, when I'm
totally. Me too.
reading it. Yeah.
I I too. I already read it this. No, well, not this year because it just started. But I read it like, I don't know, 8 weeks ago. You know. Yeah, I read that. I try to listen to the audiobook like every year. I do try. You know. Yeah, I think I want to say that book definitely changed my business. You know.
And it's kinda crazy because it's not like, it's not hidden gems that are in it really, like or, like,
No.
something that, like, somebody would never ever think about, but I don't know, I guess
Exactly.
until you read it, it's like, "Dude, why am I not, like, doing"
Yeah.
like, it
You know
makes
what's
so
funny? It's
much
like,
sense.
when the first time I read it, I was so amped up, it wasn't even funny, dude. I
Yeah.
could have ran a 100-mile race after reading that book, dude. Um,
Mm,
but the one thing I got out of it that changed, that what I say changed my business, was that there was a part of it where I thought he said, just get all the business you can and then figure out how to do it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was just like, holy shit, that's genius, because I operate best when my back is against the wall. So if I had to take care of $1 million worth of work, I'll figure out how to do it. You know what I mean? So that's what changed my business, because my mindset changed at that point. Was like, oh, screw this! I'm just going to get as much work as I can, whatever time. And at the time, it was August. The first time I read that book was in August, which was like slowest season of the. When your revenue is like 300 or 400K, that's probably the slowest time of the year. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And and that's when I was in the mindset of like, holy crap, I just got to get customers. I don't care what they're doing, what we're doing, we're gonna get them. Like, I'm just gonna get them. And that's when my I think my business changed, because that's when I was just like going crazy trying to get customers and all that stuff. But then I've listened to that book again over and over again, and I never really get that out of that book anymore. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It's like, it's weird. I get other things out of it. And I don't even remember the part where he says, "Get all the work you can, and then figure out how to do it." Like, I think I was just so amped up, I just thought about it. But but yeah, that book is good. The book I just read, and I have already read it like 4 times in the audiobook, is Extreme Ownership.
Oh, dude, I read that too. Yeah. It's about,
Dude,
who is that? Jocko, I don't know how
yeah,
to say his name.
yeah, Jocko Willing.
That is one
Um,
that I've gave to, like, my brothers and stuff that just have regular jobs. Like, dude, read this because, like, a lot of times when I talk to you, you just need to, like, read this and remember this book about taking some ownership for stuff that you do. And
dude, it's so good. The funny thing is, it's the only book I've ever like given to both my managers. Like, read this. Like, I called up my ops manager. I'm like, hey, use the green card, and I text him a picture of the book, and I like, get the audiobook and read it. And okay, and I saw the alert immediately that he bought it. And then I talked to him like 2 days later, and I'm like, hey man, so have you started the book? He's like, yeah, I read the first like 15 minutes, and then I haven't read it yet. I'm like, thinking to myself, how do you read the first 15 minutes and not just want to read the whole damn thing because it's so damn good? Like, how the hell? Um, so yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if like he'll take that on to look at it and read it. You know what I mean? Like, is he the kind of person that will want to better himself or just not know that it's right there? You know, it's gonna be it's kind of like a little test I'm seeing myself. Like, what kind of what kind of leader, like what kind of education does this guy want to do? Like, I gave him a book to read. Is he gonna read it now? Just kind of curious how that's gonna work out.
Yeah, and that one's good for like, I mean, when I was reading that, I was thinking of like all aspects of my life and like the 10x thing. It's like I was very like, okay, this is like business, but that extreme ownership is I mean that like made me think about like my whole life and like yeah, like
Yeah,
every aspect. It was I've never I never was like a reader, I guess, like in school or anything.
yeah, me either. Me either.
Uh, but some of those books, I'm like, there's
Well,
one
you
called
know,
How to Be a or no, being a making money without being a boss or something like that. I forget what it's
okay,
called. It's at my house, but it's about pretty much like stepping back from the business, but like improving it at the same time. And even though I'm not there yet, all these books too to me, which I'm sure to you too, it's like very simple stuff that you've probably thought about, but then like when it's in a book and they explain it for a whole chapter, it's like this is exactly why you do this. And like I know that you should do this, but this is how you implement it. In most cases, this is why you should do it. This is why it works. And it's just like if your girlfriend tells you something and then your dad tells you the same thing, it's like right away it's like, oh,
right,
that makes sense because my dad told me. But like your girlfriend's told
right,
you it 10 times. Like
totally,
yeah.
totally. Yeah, and that book, also Grant talks about ownership in the book too. He's like, you know, if somebody runs a red light and hits my car, it's still my fault. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? So I thought
yeah,
that's pretty cool. He's been saying that for a long time. But I let my at one point I that book was so good that I did have people read the 10x rule too at the time when I first read it, and I gave it to my I had uh, my estimator read it, and I think she got amped up too. And next thing you know, she like started her own business. So I stopped. So I stopped having
oh
my employees read the 10x rule
what's kind of
because it
crazy is if you look it up, there's not a lot of people that talk about the context in the book. It almost like when I was looking up and was gonna read it the first time, it was like a big secret. That's why I wanted to read it so bad. Like, what is this? Like, nobody says it, but then uh, I could
yeah.
see like I don't know that book is it did amp me up like what you said. Like, it wanted me to go and like make a billion videos and change
Exactly.
everything. And
I
I
know.
remember it
Well,
was
it's
like a
just like,
Sunday, and I
well,
read that book in one day.
yeah, me too. That book is like the simple thing about that book is like anything you do, if you do it 10 times more, you there's it's scientifically proven that you're gonna do better. Like that's the
Yeah,
mindset of that book. That's the secret of that book. It's like if your job is to call 10, 20 people a day, call 200, and you're guaranteed to have a better outcome if you do that. Um, and so I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting, and that's when it was like, dude, I can talk to 10 more customers a day or 20 more. I can do that. I can talk to 10 more customers a day. But yeah. So
yeah. And
anyway,
I
I think
like
we
the
go ahead.
can you hear me good?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, you're kind of breaking up. The one thing about that book too, quick, is when he said, if you have a goal of say 200,000, like your goal should be a million. So when you get short of that, 'cause he's like, you're gonna inevitably be short of some goals, and you're at
right,
600,000. It's way better to be at 600 than 160 on that 200.
right, yeah,
And that's like so simple, but it makes so much sense. It's like Yes,
you
why would you
know,
not think like that? I don't know. Stuff
I
like
know, and I
that.
was already I already followed him on Instagram and stuff or whatever he was on before I read that book. Um, and a friend of mine was like, "Dude, you got to read this book, whatever." So I read it, and then it was like, "Holy crap, dude!" Yeah, so that is a book I. So the last time I read it, I mean, I've probably read that thing, I don't know, 6 times maybe. Um, Last time I read it, I have to admit, I don't think I was as amped as I have before. So I think it eventually does wear off a little bit,
Yeah.
just because, like, it's almost like I remembered every story at that time, at that book. Um, but yeah, it is something like that you probably should do every year.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, dude, thanks for doing this. I did put your link on the top here in the comments of your channel, just in case anybody wants to, check your channel out and subscribe to it. I do appreciate you doing these with me. I think that it's like awesome. I wish people would ask more questions, though. Like nobody's really asking questions, uh,
Yeah,
but you keep them coming too, so that's cool. But
yeah,
all
I
right, man.
appreciate you having me on. We'll talk to
Yeah.
you
Well, thanks for
sometime here.
making the time too. I know
Yeah,
you're
no
busy.
problem.
All right, man.
Nope.
Later.
Alright. Yep, see ya.